My name is Sarah Mitchell, and if someone had told me a year ago that I would discover my husband's affair through a $5,000 ring hidden in my own closet, I would have thought it was something out of a soap opera. But real life is sometimes crueler than any fiction. 10 years of marriage. 10 years building a life I thought was solid as concrete. 10 years being the perfect wife, the woman who gave up her own dreams to support her husband's meteoric career. And it all crumbled because of an umbrella. But it wasn't just the ring. What happened afterward? It changed not only my life, but the lives of 5 other women. And today, 2 years later, I can say that terrible moment was the best gift the universe could have given me. To understand how it all happened, I need to go back in time a bit. I met Michael in college. I was studying psychology. He was in business administration. He was the kind of man who drew attention, ambitious, determined, with clear plans for the future. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, I felt like I had won the lottery. We got married 2 years after graduation. Beautiful ceremony, honeymoon in Europe, new apartment. I graduated. But when he got a promotion that required moving to another city, I didn't hesitate to give up my dream internship at the clinic. It's temporary, he would say. Once I get established, you'll resume your career. Temporary became permanent. 5 years later, when he was promoted again, we moved to New York. This time, we didn't even consider my career. I had become the wife who organized the house, who entertained his clients, who took care of every detail so he could focus on work. I was good at it. Very good. Our house looked like a magazine catalog. Impeccable dinners. I knew the name of every partner's wife at his firm, remembered the birthdays of his boss's children, sent gifts at the right time. Michael always introduced me as my wife Sarah, the woman behind my success. And I would smile, proud. What an idiot I was. The signs were all there. The delays becoming more frequent, work trips increasing, his phone always face down during dinner, the calls he would take while leaving the room. But I trusted him. After all, we were a team, weren't we? It was on a rainy Thursday in March that my life imploded. I was organizing the closet for the cleaning lady when I remembered I had left my umbrella in the hall closet. Michael always complained about the mess there, so I decided to organize it. That's when my hand touched the paper bag, hidden behind the winter coats. Vivian's Fine Jewelry. A name I knew. It was one of the most expensive jewelry stores in the city. I thought, how sweet. He's planning a surprise for our 10-year anniversary. Except our anniversary had already passed 4 months ago. My birthday, 6 months ago. Valentine's Day, long gone. There were no holidays coming up. No special occasions. The tissue paper crinkled as I pulled out the small velvet box, deep navy blue, expensive, the kind that holds something significant. I opened it with trembling fingers. A diamond ring, not huge, but elegant, classic, the kind of ring a man gives when he's serious, when he's planning a future. I checked the receipt tucked into the bag, $5,000, purchased just 3 days earlier. My legs gave out. I sat right there on the closet floor, staring at this beautiful ring that wasn't meant for me. The room started spinning. 10 years of marriage, and I was looking at an engagement ring my husband bought for another woman. I heard his key in the door. I shoved everything back behind the coats and ran to the kitchen. My heart hammering so hard, I was sure he'd hear it. "Hey, babe," Michael called out, like it was any other day. "How was your day?" I watched him from the kitchen doorway, really watched him. The way he set down his briefcase, how he loosened his tie, the casual kiss on my cheek that felt like ice. "Fine," I managed to say. "Busy." We had dinner. I asked about his day. He told me about meetings, deadlines, office politics, normal conversation. Husband and wife catching up, but nothing was normal anymore. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling while he slept peacefully beside me. This man I'd shared a bed with for 10 years. This man I'd built my entire adult life around. Who was she? I called Emma first thing the next morning. My college roommate. The only person I trusted with something this delicate. She was a private investigator now. Ironic, considering she used to be terrible at keeping secrets. "Sarah, slow down," she said when I called, crying hysterically. "What do you need me to do?" Within 2 hours, Emma had traced the purchase. The ring was indeed custom ordered. Not just any ring. It was part of a matching set, engagement ring and wedding band. The wedding band was being sized and would be ready next week. My husband was planning to marry someone else. "We need more information," Emma said gently. "Can you get into his computer? His phone?" I'd never snooped in 10 years of marriage, never felt the need to. But desperate times. That weekend, Michael announced he had a golf weekend with college friends. A detail that might fool most wives. But I knew Michael. He didn't golf, had never golfed, didn't even own golf clubs. "Have fun," I said, kissing him goodbye like the trusting wife I'd always been. An hour after he left, I was going through his home office. His computer was password protected, but I knew Michael. I tried our anniversary date. Wrong. My birthday. Wrong. His birthday. Wrong. Then I tried something that made my stomach turn. Jessica 2024. It worked. Jessica. Even her name was prettier than mine. His email revealed everything. Hotel reservations, romantic dinners, photos of weekend getaways I thought were business trips, messages so intimate they made me physically sick. But the worst part? The timeline. This wasn't a recent fling. This had been going on for 8 months. 8 months of lies. 8 months of I love yous that meant nothing. 8 months of me cooking his favorite meals while he planned a life with someone else. I printed everything, every email, every receipt, every photo. Then I found something that made me understand why he'd been so careless about hiding the ring. An email to his lawyer about divorce proceedings. He was planning to leave me, but he wanted to do it strategically. Minimize his financial loss, claim I was unstable, that I'd become difficult and unsupportive of his career. He was going to destroy my reputation to protect his assets. I took photos of everything, then carefully put it all back, exactly as I'd found it. Emma was waiting for me at a coffee shop across town. "We're going to follow him," she said simply. The vineyard was 3 hours north. Emma drove her cousin's car so we wouldn't be recognized. She'd done this before. The careful distance, the telephoto lens, the patience. We waited in the parking lot for 2 hours before Michael's BMW pulled up. My breath caught when I saw her get out of the passenger side. Jessica was everything I wasn't. 28 to my 36, blonde to my brunette, tall and willowy where I was average height and soft from years of comfortable marriage. But it wasn't her beauty that destroyed me. It was how Michael looked at her. I hadn't seen that expression in years. Pure adoration. The way he used to look at me when we were young and everything felt possible. They walked into the hotel hand in hand, like a real couple, like people in love. Emma got the photos, I got the heartbreak. We drove back in silence. What was there to say? At home, I sat at my kitchen table, the one where we'd had breakfast that morning, where he'd kissed me goodbye like a loving husband, and I wrote him a letter. Not emotional, not accusatory, just facts. I know about Jessica. I know about the ring. I know about the hotel receipts and the lawyer consultations. I know you're planning to divorce me and claim I'm unstable. I'm making this easy for you. I'm leaving. Don't contact me. Don't try to explain. Don't insult my intelligence with lies. I attached one photo. Michael and Jessica kissing in the hotel parking lot. Then I packed a suitcase and went to Emma's house. He called 47 times that night. I didn't answer. The next morning, he showed up at Emma's door at 6 a.m. Crying. Actually crying. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "Sarah, please. Let me explain. It's not what you think. She doesn't mean anything. You're my wife. You're my life. I made a mistake. But $5,000 isn't a mistake. 8 months of lies isn't a mistake. Planning to destroy my reputation isn't a mistake. The ring, Michael? I said quietly. You bought her a ring. He had no answer for that. I filed for divorce that afternoon. The divorce was brutal. Michael hired an expensive lawyer and tried exactly what I'd expected, painting me as an unstable wife who'd abandoned the marriage. But I had Emma, and I had evidence. Every email, every receipt, every lie documented and time-stamped. His lawyer advised him to settle quickly and quietly. I got the house, half his assets, and alimony for 5 years. More importantly, I got my freedom. But the real story starts after the divorce was finalized. I was cleaning out the closet, that same closet where I'd found the ring, when I discovered something else. A small notebook tucked behind some old photo albums, Michael's handwriting, list of names, phone numbers, hotel reservations going back 3 years. Jessica wasn't his first affair. She was just the first one he'd wanted to marry. There were 5 other women, 5 other lives he'd disrupted while playing the devoted husband at home. I stared at those names and realized something that changed everything. I had a choice. I could be bitter and broken, or I could make sure this never happened to anyone else. I chose justice. I found them, all 5 women. Amanda, the marketing executive who thought she was dating a divorced businessman. Lisa, the teacher who believed his sob story about his cold, career-obsessed wife. Rebecca, the nurse who'd been sending him money to help with his difficult divorce proceedings. Karen, the attorney who thought she was helping him through marital counseling. And Maria, the young architect who was planning to quit her job to move to another city with him. They all had the same story. Michael was separated, going through a difficult divorce. His wife was unstable, controlling, career-obsessed. He was looking for a fresh start with someone who understood him. Some of them had been intimate with him in our marital bed while I was visiting my sick mother. The rage I felt could have powered a small city. But instead of revenge, I chose something more powerful. Truth. I organized a meeting, all 6 of us, in a private room at a downtown hotel. Imagine the scene. 5 women who thought they were the other woman in a marriage, discovering they were actually victims of a serial manipulator. And one wife who thought her marriage was just hit by a single affair, learning her husband was essentially running a small-scale romantic Ponzi scheme. We sat in a circle. We shared our stories. We cried. We raged. We laughed at the absurdity of it all. And then we made a pact. Michael thought he could disappear into his new life with Jessica. New apartment, new social circle, clean slate. He was wrong. We didn't want revenge in the traditional sense. We wanted accountability. Amanda, the marketing executive, had connections at his company. She made sure the leadership knew about Michael's character issues, particularly his pattern of lying and manipulation. Lisa, the teacher, was friends with several wives in his new social circle. Word spread quickly about his history. Rebecca, the nurse, had kept every text message where he'd asked for money under false pretenses. Financial fraud has a funny way of following people. Karen, the attorney, helped us understand our legal options. Turns out, some of what Michael had done crossed legal lines. Maria, the young architect, had the most devastating weapon of all. She was Jessica's younger sister. Jessica had no idea her fiancé was the same man who'd been stringing along 5 other women while married to me. The conversation between the sisters was explosive. Within a month, Michael's carefully constructed new life fell apart. Jessica left him. His job performance suffered from the stress and rumors. His new social connections evaporated. But we weren't finished. We started a blog, The Michael Mitchell Files, a study in serial romantic manipulation. We documented everything. Patterns of behavior, warning signs, how to protect yourself from men like him. The blog went viral, not because people wanted revenge porn, but because the information was useful. We'd inadvertently created a resource for women who were being manipulated by similar men. Emails poured in from women sharing their own stories. We realized Michael wasn't unique. He was a type. And there were thousands of men just like him, leaving a trail of broken trust and confused women in their wake. We turned the blog into a support network, then a nonprofit organization, Second Sight, helping women recognize manipulation before it destroys them. 2 years later, I barely recognized the woman who found that ring in the closet. I moved to a smaller apartment downtown, went back to school to finish my psychology degree, started seeing clients again, specifically women recovering from manipulative relationships. The work is hard but meaningful. Every woman I help heal is a victory over the person Michael tried to make me become. Bitter, broken, afraid to trust. Emma and I started a private investigation service specializing in relationship fraud. We've helped dozens of women discover the truth about partners who seemed too good to be true. The 5 other women became my chosen sisters. Amanda left her corporate job and started her own consulting firm. Lisa got promoted to principal. Rebecca went back to school and became a therapist. Karen specialized in family law, helping women navigate difficult divorces. Maria moved to Barcelona and opened an architecture firm. We meet every few months. We call ourselves the Sisterhood of the Velvet Box. A name that makes us laugh now, though it once made us cry. We all grew stronger. We all grew wiser. We all learned that being broken open sometimes lets the light in. As for Michael, he eventually moved to another state, started over with a new identity, new lies, new victims. But we'd created something he couldn't destroy. A network of women who communicate, who warn each other, who refuse to let men like him operate in shadows. The ring box still sits in my closet, empty now, but not forgotten. I put a note inside. Thank you for showing me who you really were. Thank you for setting me free to become who I was meant to be. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and this is how I discovered that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the first day of your real life. The life where you're nobody's fool, the life where you know your worth, the life that's entirely, authentically, unshakably yours.